Hello, my name is Katri Hietala and I'm from Aalto University, Finland. In our research to business project Kontiot, we've taken a step forward already with the DCC and studied the digital transformation of the calibration management from the operational perspective. We worked with our industry partners to find what DCC implementation concretely requires from the different organizations involved, and how it will change the current calibration management processes. What drives us as a team is to develop easy access solutions for the DCC users in the industry and calibration ecosystem. Let me share some of the learnings with you and hopefully raise your interest to start planning your DCC implementation already now. Many of the organizations that we've been discussing with have already found similar issues in the paper-based calibration processes and documentation. It involves a lot of manual work. The data is not in machine-readable or processable format, so it only can be used once when the certificate comes in. And there's a high risk for human errors and broken data trace in the process. Digital Calibration Certificate, DCC, will include less of the manual work, and the data flow is uninterrupted from system to system. This directly improves the data integrity and process efficiency, and then leads to better compliance and process quality. Issue resolution and decision making gets faster and more precise. And ideally, DCC lowers the processing costs and even the calibration spend if the information is used to optimize the calibration efforts. I want to go through with you some of the DCC implementation topics that we've been covering with our partners so far. It's good to understand your role towards the DCC. How your current processes work and how do you want to change them or how do you need to change them. What are the DCC solution components valid for your organization and your processes? And how do you think that the implementation between you and your business partners or customers will need to be done? Let me start with the roles. This is a simplistic picture of what happens actually around the DCC. On the right hand side you see the instrument owner, who's the receiver and user of the DCC, and on the left hand side you see the calibrator, who's the issuer, the DCC creator or sender. Ideally the process here includes some sort of an order or request from the instrument owner to the calibrator, and then when the calibrator has performed the calibration, they send the digital calibration certificate DCC now instead of the paper document. DCC itself, as you see here, is a communication vehicle, and all what we need to agree on is between the parties. This is an illustration of the calibration chain as a whole. If we think of this one, the industrial manufacturing companies here on the upper right corner, they are basically the end users of the DCCs. And before them, they have the accredited calibration laboratories and national metrology institutes, as many as they need in their chain. And they also will be using calibration service companies or providers for field calibrations mostly. And between all of these parties, DCCs fly. What we've understood and found with the partners is that for DCC to really be useful for all the industry players, it would need to support all of these transactions. The DCCs from the National Metrology Institutes, accredited laboratories, but also from the non-accredited service providers or from the field calibration, not only from the laboratory calibration. Then if we look at the process, when we put it very simple and on a very high level, it's quite clean. So from the industrial manufacturing company who has instruments in their production line or similar place, or they have the production references, they would request the calibration from the laboratory or service, who would then perform calibration, create DCC, sign, share, and then the industrial manufacturing company will again receive the DCC, view and approve, and then process the data, which is one of the most important steps here. And if we think of it between the other two players, the process is exactly the same. So on a high level, it's super simple process. Every player will be having a very different process on a detail level. And our suggestion here is that when you start planning on the DCC implementation or just thinking of it, first thing to do is to understand the role of yours towards the DCC, and then build the process of your current calibration management process and then for the DCC. Then you get an understanding of how big the change is in your organization that you need to plan for. To help us and to help you, we've created a list of components for the DCC solution. And we've been looking through this for a year now on a very detailed level in the operations. And this is basically the list of the core elements that you would need to enable between the two parties, the calibrator and the instrument owner. DCC needs to be created and signed by the calibrator, and then on the other hand, the green box is there. The receiver needs to verify the DCC that it's coming from the right source. They will need to take the data to their systems if they want to use it properly. And then if they want to just read it in a human readable format, they need that type of a functionality. Then depending on how far you want to go with the data, analytics, DCC management, and so forth will be then added on. The white boxes are something that you actually share between the two players. How do you exchange the DCC from calibrator to your industry or instrument owner? And how do you move it within the instrument owner organization if needed? How do you manage the storing? How do you manage the users? Who signs? Who can read? These type of things. So there's a lot of topics to go through, but we're pretty confident that this is the list. So if you just consider this list as your baseline when you start implementing and planning the implementation, you already get several steps ahead. In our Contiot project, we've already started also developing some of the solutions here. We are super keen on finding the easy access solutions for the industry players, and we've already started. No matter where we are with the DCC, we've already started. And the first thing that we've done is the signing solution for the DCC, and that's in the test with our partners at the moment. It's simple, but it does the job. So we have the capability of signing the DCC and validating the format of it, and then it can be securely transferred to the receiver. We are also now working with other components here, but that's in the demo phase. If we think of the ecosystem, then as we saw earlier, there's quite a many players, and I think that one of the understandings that we've been seeing when we've been going through the discussions is that what does it make sense of who actually does the components of the DCC solution? Is it something that you do one-on-one, which is the traditional way of agreement between the calibrator and the instrument owner? Or is there a place for some sort of a shared ecosystem for the DCC? And that's a question more at the moment that we have. I tried to illustrate it a bit on what it means for you when you start implementing the DCC. So basically, in the two extremes, you have two opportunities. So Either you would be doing one-on-one interfaces between all the players that you have, instrument owner to all the manufacturers or calibrators, whomever will be delivering you DCCs. And then the calibrators or instrument manufacturers towards all the instrument owners that they have in their customer list, basically. Or whether we would be actually together starting to form a DCC community where each of the player would be having a direct interface into some sort of a DCC hub, if we want to call it that, and then having the capabilities of DCC sharing only done once, and then each of the player can give and get from the generic. What's good to understand here on the right hand side illustration and for the shared service is that it still includes that also the same capability of data confidentiality and availability. This hub on the right hand side, it's not an open internet type of a thing where you would be putting the DCCs, but it's more of a common platform where you would be having your own corners of information, and you have the capability of securing the data that you need to secure. And if at some point of the process we see the benefits of the digitalization going further, there might be some non-critical information that we would like to share between the players. The couple of easy examples that we have in mind is quality standards, which are somewhat generic for many players, or recommendations for the calibrations for certain types of instruments. Whatever is something that is not restricted to one organization could actually benefit easily all the players here and be just done once. But whatever you choose, I think that's the important thing, is that the decision is pretty much yours. So the DCC components illustrated just is something that you need to consider one by one, what to come up with, and then think of whether you want to start creating the interfaces from one player to another one-on-one relationship, or whether you think that we should be starting to form the DCC community. In both of the options, you have same capabilities of securing the data and ensuring that the visibility of the calibration certificates is only to the parties that they are meant to. Thanks for your time. Please feel free to ask more and comment, share your thoughts and views. We welcome all the inputs that you can give to us, so that we can help you to make DCC easy and fast to implement. Thank you.